I got caught watching SpongeBob porn and I got grounded for a week on some fucking bullshit. Let me tell you what happened. So before I tell you this story that happened when I was like 6 to 7 years old, let's go ahead and dial it back a bit. So when I was a kid, I was born the year 2000. Exactly the year 2000. So I had a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2. These consoles were amazing. I had Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, I had Metal Gear, I had Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, I had Tekken Tag. Those games were phenomenal. Dude, I used to play them all the time, especially Budokai 2. Oh, and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Dog, that shit used to make me so anxious as a kid. You're like driving the car and then there's a cop behind you and he's chasing you and you're trying not to flip the shit. Insane game, right? But check it out. We got a computer. As a family, we got a computer, which was a huge luxury. Back in 2003, 2004, not everybody had a computer. That was a luxury. If you had one, that's how you know your family was doing good, right? And this is when my parents were together. So we got a computer, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I booted her up, I got on there, and I played this game that blew my balls off. Let me tell you what, guys, this game blew my balls off. I was a little rat crawling through a maze collecting cheese. I thought it was the sickest shit ever. I'll never forget it, dude. I thought it was so cool, and that's all I would do. I would sit at the computer 3-4 hours a day just collecting cheese. And that was it. You collect the cheese. The game, that's just next level. Collect cheese in this maze, and that's what it was. And then there was this Hot Wheel game where I kept making loop-de-loops, and then you make the track, and then you go through the loop-de-loops or whatever. And I thought that was cool. And I had this piece of fucking shit game that, oh my god, this game sucked. It's like you had them fat bitch talking in your ear, like describing criminals. And then you have to like draw the criminals out, so you gotta like, make like mugshot. I don't want to play that. I remember I hated that game, and it was my older brother's. He got it, like, cause my older brother's a few years older than me, but he got it. And I remember I broke the disc on purpose, and I was like, it was a complete accident. Nah, that shit was not an accident, dude. That game sucked. But what would happen is I had unrestricted computer access for so many years. And what happened was, I ended up finding myself on YouTube, which I still am here, back in like 2007. And dude, that's how I got into Limp Bizkit. That's how I got into nu metal. That's how I got into Drowning Pools. I thought it was amazing. I would listen to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. I would listen to All Over Me. I would listen to the Chocolate Starfish. I thought it was amazing. It was like this new world. Dude, YouTube to me is like the greatest thing ever. It was this whole brand new world of just exploration. There was this Mean Kitty song, the little Mean Kitty. It's the meanest little kitty, he's a pain in my crack. I thought I was so cool. I used to watch Happy Tree Friends all the time as well. My favorite character was Flippy, because what would happen, he's like this little green bear, and he was like an army general or something, right? And when something would happen, like a firecracker would go off, he'd just kill all the other characters. I thought that was so cool. So I would listen to nu metal and just watch stupid shit. And what happened was, throughout all this exploration online, I found myself on a website known as Newgrounds. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you know, you know. And yeah. If you know what Newgrounds is, then you know where this story's headed. So essentially what Newgrounds is, it's kind of like this website where so many people became famous from Newgrounds, right? Because Newgrounds, you could upload games that you made, you know, Flash games, which Flash games are amazing. Crazy Flashers, Fancy Pants Man, Balloons Tower Defense, Pokemon Tower Defense. You got the Papa's Burgeria, Pizzeria, Cakeria, go fuck yourself Aria. So many Arias. What else you got? Oh, there's just so many great games. You know, I can go on all day about the amazing games that you have on there, right? So what would happen is Newgrounds had Flash games. They also had animations, like Dad and Me was a great Flash game, Alien Hominid. And I would play those Flash games. And then I'll look at some of the animations. Some of these animations were like Dragon Ball Z animations, or like, you know, Fred Durst animations, or people would draw things. But the thing was, there was also an adult section on that same website. There was a mature and adult section. So mature meant like, you know, let's say it's like a violent game. You're punching a character and his eyes come out of his socket. That would be mature. Adults is like, you know, chicks with their titties out. But what would happen is, I would just have it all just on. So I'd be sitting there and I'd be playing a video game. And I don't know, I'd see some chicks' titties. And there was also some sexual games. One of the games I was going to talk about was you get these glasses. And what you do is you can see through people's clothes. And that's the whole point of the game. So you're like this. And you see a little vagina. Alright? A little vagina. Not a lot of vagina. It's a little vagina that this chick has. And I'm like, oh shit. What the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? This little drawn vagina on some fucking big old fat bitch. Which is pretty crazy. I didn't know that fat chicks had smoke. You know, whatever. That's not my fucking point, people. The point was, that's the video games that website hosted. And you would get shot at the end, because what you're supposed to do at the end of the game, you gotta look at the clerk, and he'd be like, why are you looking at my penis? Why you look at it? And he would take out a gun and shoot you. And it would say game over. That's how the game's supposed to end. But the point I'm trying to make here is that at some point, I clicked on a SpongeBob video. And SpongeBob may and or may not have received head from Patrick behind the Krusty Krab. I may not... Guys, you gotta understand. Let me explain something to you. I was like 7, 8 years old probably. So like I kind of had an idea, right? Mind you, I spent a lot of my childhood watching like WWE, watching Undertaker, Batista, Rey Mysterio, and John Cena fighting and shit. I didn't watch content like that, so you gotta imagine my surprise. I'm like 7 years old. I'm like I couldn't understand. I saw like SpongeBob. They drew his dick with like a bunch of squiggly hairs, and I was like, what is this shit? And Patrick was just going there, yo. Patrick was just giving up neck. I was like, whoa. And I really didn't understand. So what would happen is, I remember hopping off the computer. I didn't think nothing of it. And essentially, I went into my room and I started playing this game called SpongeBob Creature from the Krusty Krab. If you don't know what Creature from the Krusty Krab, it's like this racing game, but it's open world too. It's pretty cool. I thought it was a phenomenal game. Looking back at it, I should play it again at some point. But I'm playing Creature from the Krusty Krab. And I hear a knock at my door. It's like, dong, 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 dong. And I'm like, and it's like 9 o'clock at night, 9 p.m. And I'm like, why is there a knock at my door? And I unlocked the door, and you know that guy named D that I talked to you about, that crazy nutcase from my last video with me drowning and coming back to life? Yeah, that guy, he was like, hey, come here. And I was like, ah, shit, because it was his computer, right? Because this is a different computer. So my family had our own computer. He had his own computer. I was on his computer watching this shit. Yeah! Yeah! So what happened was, I was on his computer watching this shit. Yeah, and he pulls it up and he's like, were you watching SpongeBob get his dick sucked by Patrick? And mind you, he's like a 42-year-old man, so you can imagine. I was like, no. And he's like, were you watching Patrick suck SpongeBob's dick? Be honest. And I was like, no. And I'm getting fucking nervous, dude. I was getting so nervous. I didn't necessarily know, but I knew. You know what I'm saying? And yo, he kept grilling me and he kept asking me. Up until the point where I was like, yeah, I did. Fuck. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I knew what he was referring to, and I was like, yeah, I guess I did. Right? Dog, I didn't know browser history was a thing. You gotta understand that. I didn't know that was a thing. Dog, I lost my PlayStation 2 for a week. I was so pissed. I watched them march into my room, and I watched them unplug like the cords and just wrap up my entire PlayStation 2 and take all my games. I was like, no! I was so mad. Dog, I PlayStation. Dog, I had no Budokai Tenkaichi for a week. That was the worst. No SmackDown versus Raw. No more Budokai Tenkaichi. I was so pissed, dude. I remember being so fucking mad. Yo, you ever get so mad at like an adult figure in your life that you just close the door and you're like, fuck you. He's that you just start losing it. You throw yourself on your bed. You're like, yeah, I started tripping the fuck out, yo. I could not believe it. I was like, my PlayStation, because that's what I had, yo. That was my everything. Back in like 07, my PlayStation 2 was my everything, dog. Yo, I threw myself on my bed. I just started throwing like this fucking, yo, and I fucking was like, and I fucking punched the wall. I was fucking getting so mad. Dude, I started punching the fucking wall. I started throwing shit. I fucking grabbed like these toys and I started pulling the heads off my fucking Rey Mysterios. And I started throwing them on the ground. I was like, I fucking hate this fucking house. Fuck. Yeah, I just tripped the fuck out, yo, over a PlayStation. I was like, oh, wait, hold on. SmackDown's on tonight. And I started watching Undertaker. So yeah, that's what happened, yo. That's how I got grounded. Absolutely miserable. Horrible experience, people. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Like, favorite, share, most favorite, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you've been through something similar. Blah, 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 blue, 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 blah, 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 linga, gully, 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 what the... for taking away my PlayStation 2. 2 thumbs down. Peace.